I went to the scariest place on earth this morning. Okay. I've been to like 10 dumps for my whole life, and like they're all fine. And like I walk into this dump, and like I pull up to this window, and there's this. Well, Brian asked, he's like, "Oh, is there like some gal from like New Jersey there or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And the lady literally looked down at me. She had so much lipstick on the bottom of her lip that it hung down. She's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, I wanna go. And like I had to like throw my credit card, like reach it up this high, because normally it's the big giant trucks that pull through. And she's like, "Going to Bay 3, it's dead right now, but hey, you never know, I'll get really busy later." And so I pull up, and there's these doors. Bay 3 is more like Cathedral Door of Trash 3. 60-foot high arches, 3 of them in a row. And rebar is just splintered off everywhere. It's like it's like a video game trash zone, like Sonic the Hedgehog trash zone or something like that. And it's like, and I'm like sitting there and like I kind of like back my trailer in, and right as I do, this giant bulldozer comes in pushing an entire house of plywood. And I was like, God! You know? And like I'm sitting there and like throwing my little toilet and an entire, I mean, it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen, but it felt like this church of trash is what it felt like. Yeah, it felt like a church of trash. But anyways, today I was actually thinking about like Leviathan today. Yeah. Back to like going like, because you go to this like place of trash and like there's all the stuff that I thought was like really interesting, and you're like, oh, why would this person throw that away? So there's like all this like interesting stuff, and I was thinking about like, you know, why is it that we have to kind of go into the deep? Like, why do we have to go and hunt sea monsters? Like in the Bible or whatever, everything's all about like going and getting sea monsters. And I was thinking like, okay, well, it's one thing to go, it's one thing to say, oh, I believe that there is a sea monster down there and that it will kill me if I go down there. But it's another thing to say, I believe that there's a sea monster down there, and if I go and drag that sea monster up and I kill it, then I'm going to be a hero. Right? And so I think that a lot of times we don't really think about the fact that like going on a journey is actually not about, it's going on, like you're looking for the right monster to slay. Like you're looking for the right one. You're not just like arbitrarily going in and saying, oh, I'm going to become the best, whatever, because you never know what you're going to become the best at or however that's going to shake out. But it's to say, I'm going to swim, or I'm going to drive, I'm going to go over an adventure, I'm going to take my ship, I'm going to set sail, and I'm going to go and look for a giant monster. And I think that this is one of those Jordan Peterson things where he's like, you know, you won't know the opportunity unless you've taken enough opportunities. You wouldn't know the right one. But then one day you'll like see the right monster. And I think this is why Moby Dick is so important, because you'll see your white whale and you'll be like, that's the monster I'm destined to hunt for the rest of my life. Right? And I think it's something that half of the battle in enjoying your own masculinity or enjoying your own life is trying to find the sea monster that's got you. Right? Like the one that's like the other side of you. And so it was just so funny because I had been looking for the dump for a long time. For like a couple of months, I've been looking on my phone and couldn't find it. And then finally I asked you guys to load up the trailer with trash to force myself to have to find the dump. Because otherwise I was never going to do it. And then when I saw it today, it was like I knew it. It was so exciting. But it was like I finally found like a way to like a tool to like aid in the building of Phoenix Ridge. But I think that that's part of the joy of this place is that this place isn't the monster. Rebuilding this isn't the monster. This is building the ship to go and hunt the monster. Right? And if your vision's big enough, and your vision's bad enough, and it's awesome enough, then you just might be able to find a crew.